Welcome to the deep dive. Usually when we think about mapping the human psyche, we picture like inkblot tests or, sitting for hours on a therapist's couch.
Right. Yeah, we expect
Mhm.
it to be this very clinical, highly scientific process, diagnostic categories and all that.
Exactly. But what if I told you that you could perfectly map someone's entire psychological coping mechanism, like their core emotional philosophy, with just a deck of trading
I
cards?
mean, it sounds completely absurd at first glance.
It really does.
But when you look closely at how someone constructs a game strategy, especially a highly customized one, you start to see their underlying worldview kind of bleed through the cardboard.
Okay, let's unpack this. Today we're taking a deep dive into an incredibly specific, custom-built Yu-Gi-Oh deck.
Yes, from an older era of the game too.
Yeah, we have this highly detailed design document and a set of reflection notes dated April 24th, 2026. The deck is named Addy's Deck, Warmth That Burns Back.
Such a great title.
And to really anchor this, we have this striking, almost like surreal piece of visual source material that came with it.
It is a phenomenal image.
Yeah.
Just so much going on.
It's wild. It's this illustration of a cheerful blonde anime girl in a nurse outfit, but she has these massive fiery wings.
Right.
And she's sitting in a forest that is completely engulfed in flames, just smiling while holding this giant, terrifying syringe. And it's literally glowing with liquid fire.
And we can't forget the best part in the background.
Oh, right. Right behind her, peering out, there's this tiny, completely bewildered little squirrel-looking creature just watching the chaos.
It perfectly captures the absolute psychological whiplash of this deck's strategy, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
But, our mission today isn't just to talk about trading cards or the nostalgia of the 2005 to 2007 era of Yu-Gi-Oh! That this deck is built around.
No, I'm going deeper.
Exactly. We're looking at this 40-card deck as an exercise in emotional economics.
Emotional economics, I just love that phrase. It's this idea that pain isn't the opposite of joy, but it's actually the fuel for it.
Precisely.
And just looking at this fiery nurse image, you can immediately tell this is about some bizarre, joyful chaos.
To understand how this works, though, we have to first understand the era of the game this deck belongs to.
The 2005 to 2007 era, right?
Yeah. It was significantly slower and more methodical than the modern game. You couldn't just play your entire deck in a single 10-minute turn.
Oh, right. You had to actually build up to things.
Exactly. You had to set cards face down.
Yeah.
You had to build a board over several turns. It was a game of attrition.
Which is exactly what allows a psychological strategy like this to even work in the first place.
Right. This deck is explicitly framed in the notes as a conversion deck. It's not designed to overpower you with massive monsters right from the start.
No, it wants you to think something else entirely.
It's designed to take vulnerability, like taking hits, losing resources, and convert that directly into an advantage. It weaponizes the opponent's perception.
So imagine you're sitting across the table from Addy, the creator of this deck. The game starts. You're expecting a fight, but you don't see the fire and the giant syringe right away.
Not all.
You see what the design philosophy calls the soft energy package.
Which is such a deceptive name.
Totally. It's a board state specifically designed to look adorable and just, like, completely non-threatening.
The psychology here is brilliant because it plays on your expectations. Addy starts by playing a card called Nimble Mamunga.
Which is almost certainly the inspiration for that tiny, bewildered squirrel in our source image.
Oh, absolutely. Nimble Mamunga is what card players call a floater.
Wait, what do you mean by a floater? Like it just floats there?
Well, think of it like a decoy or a persistent roadblock. When you, the opponent, attack and destroy Nimble Mamunga, it doesn't just go away.
Oh, it does something else.
Right. First, Addy gains 1,000 life points. Then the card's effect instantly summons up to 2 more Nimble Mamungas from her deck face down to take its place.
So you hit 1 and 2 more pop up.
Exactly. It creates this frustrating, multiplying wall of squirrels that just refuses to stay down.
Wow.
She also uses a card called UFO Turtle, which does something similar. When it gets destroyed, it immediately summons another fire monster from the deck.
So they just constantly replace themselves. That provides so much stability and resilience early on.
It really does.
Right. So you're sitting there across the table, and your opponent is just playing these cute little defensive creatures. And in the background, Addy plays cards like Solemn Wishes and Marie the Fallen One.
Those are key pieces.
Yeah, because they provide this quiet, passive healing. With Solemn Wishes, every single time Addy draws a card, which she has to do at the start of every single turn, she just quietly gains 500 life points.
And Marie the Fallen One sits in the discard pile, and grants her 200 life points every turn, automatically.
Without her even having to do anything. The insight here is that this creates a profound sense of optimism over time.
Yes, optimism is the perfect word for it.
As an opponent, you're thinking, okay, this person is just trying to survive. They're just gaining life. They aren't a threat.
What's fascinating here is the absolute intentionality of that facade. This isn't just stalling for the sake of stalling.
Right.
By playing these cute cards and letting you relax, Addy is actively manipulating your emotional state.
Because life gain doesn't actually win games on its own, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
You underestimate her because gaining life doesn't reduce your life points to 0. But mechanically, that passive healing is just stockpiling emotional energy for a later swing.
So you think you're dominating the board, but you're actually just playing right into a meticulously set trap.
Yeah.
It's like, is this early game basically the equivalent of wrapping a Venus flytrap in a warm hug?
That's a great way to put it.
Like you think you're relaxing in a sauna, only to realize someone locked the door from the outside and is slowly turning up the heat.
Yep. By the time you realize you're actually in danger, you're already suffocating.
You think you're winning the race, but you don't realize you're just filling up Addy's gas tank.
That is a perfect analogy. You are letting her hoard resources because you don't recognize those resources as ammunition.
Oh, wow.
And that brings us to the mid-game, where this stockpiled optimism starts to turn into something much more dangerous. The deck transitions into what we can call emotional alchemy.
Okay, so she's healing. She's got a massive pool of life points. But as you said, healing doesn't win games. So how does Addy actually weaponize all those hoarded life points?
The transition is seamless but brutal. The fire engine of the deck comes online. You start seeing cards like Solar Flare Dragon.
Okay.
This card introduces burn damage to the equation.
Let's clarify burn damage for the listener real quick. That means doing damage directly to the opponent's life points outside of normal monster combat, right? Like just throwing fireballs directly at them.
Exactly. Solar Flare Dragon sits on the board and passively deals 500 points of direct damage to you at the end of every single turn.
Oh, that's annoying.
And if Addy has 2 of them on the board, they protect each other so you can't even attack them, and you're taking 1,000 damage every turn. It represents a warmth that never goes away. Suddenly, the board isn't just harmless squirrels, it's radiating this slow, annoying pressure.
But the absolute crux of this alchemy, like the card that makes the whole machine hum, is Fire Princess.
Oh, yes.
This card is brilliant. It literally turns every single instance of healing into direct damage dealt to the opponent.
It flips everything on its head.
Yeah. So all that simple, kind healing from a card like Solemn Wishes. Every time Addy draws a card, she gains 500 life points, and Fire Princess immediately fires off 500 points of damage to you.
And Marie the Fallen One gives Addy 200 life points from the graveyard.
Exactly. Fire Princess instantly hits you for another 500. It turns her life points into direct emotional pressure.
It completely flips the script. Now, every time Addy does something positive for herself, it physically hurts you in the game.
The board goes from cute and harmless to a suffocating slow drain.
It's a death by 1,000 paper cuts.
Right.
And to make sure you can't just easily escape this sauna, she grounds the chaos with classic staples from that 2005-2007 era. Well, she uses Mystical Space Typhoon to quickly destroy any counter strategies you might try to set up. And Swords of Revealing Light to literally freeze your monsters from attacking for 3 full turns.
Oh, wow. So that just buys her all the time she needs to build up this agonizing Fire Princess engine.
Exactly. It's so frustrating to play against.
But, you know, I have to push back a little here.
Okay.
Because if I'm playing against her, the second I figure out this trick, I'm just going to destroy her Fire Princess. I'll blow up her Solar Flare Dragons.
Right, that's the logical response.
Doesn't this mid-game rely on a really delicate combo? Like, if I break the pieces, doesn't this whole emotional engine just stall out?
That is exactly what you would think, and it's exactly what the deck wants you to think.
Yeah.
You feel like you have agency, that you can just break the puzzle.
But I can't.
The deck is built with profound resilience. Let's say you do manage to destroy one of Addy's fire monsters. She has a trap card active called Backfire.
Oh, no.
Yeah. The moment her fire monster is destroyed, Backfire triggers and hits you directly for 500 points of damage.
You've got to be kidding me. So even if I successfully break her combo and destroy the threat, I'm still getting penalized.
Yes. Even her losses hurt the opponent. It's true emotional alchemy, taking life points, which represent emotional energy, and converting them directly into pressure.
Man, no matter what you do.
Right, no matter what the opponent tries to do to stop it. If you attack, you take damage. If you don't attack, Fire Princess slowly burns you away. It's infuriating.
Here's where it gets really interesting, though, because as annoying and suffocating as that slow burn is, it's actually just a distraction.
It really is.
It's a sleight of hand. It's the setup for the deck's true explosive win condition. And this brings us right back to that incredible visual we started with.
The cheerful nurse with the giant flaming syringe.
Yes. That character is Injection Fairy Lily.
She is the absolute heart of the deck. When you read the source text, her importance is literally bold-faced.
She represents the Addy spike, right?
Exactly. This is the moment the deck goes from cute and passively annoying to suddenly and overwhelmingly lethal. It's an emotional spike, a revelation of hidden strength.
The mechanic of this card is wild. Injection Fairy Lily is a tiny monster. Normally, she only has 400 attack points, which is incredibly weak.
Tiny.
But when she battles, you have the option to pay a massive chunk of your own life points. 2,000 life points, to be exact.
Which is a huge cost in this game.
Huge. But remember, the entire early game was spent quietly hoarding life points with squirrels and passive healing. So when you pay that cost, Lily gets a sudden 3,000 point boost.
It's massive.
She swings up to 3,400 attack points for that single calculation. It's a controlled self-destruction for immense power.
It is the ultimate subversion of expectations. You spent the whole game watching Addy play defensively.
Right, hiding behind squirrels.
Yeah, she's been hiding behind walls of floaters, healing up, and slowly chipping away at your life from behind her swords of revealing light.
You think you're just in this slow grind?
Exactly. You think you understand the pace of the game, and then, out of nowhere, she drops Injection Fairy Lily.
And just blasts you.
She sacrifices her own safety, leverages that massive life point pool she built while you thought she was harmless, and hits you with a massive, lethal blow.
It's like, imagine you're driving a car that stalls out in the middle of a race. So you rip the battery out of your own phone, hotwire it to the ignition, drain it to 0, just to jumpstart the engine and peel across the finish line.
I love that.
It's totally reckless, but because she stockpiled that energy early on, it's incredibly effective.
And to make sure you can never feel safe, the deck surrounds Lily with other chaos cards that trigger sudden reversals. Addy doesn't just rely on her own attacks.
Oh, she weaponizes yours too.
Exactly.
Right, because if you finally get a big monster on the board and try to swing back, she flips Mirror Force.
Classic card.
Which is this sudden, devastating trap that instantly destroys all your attacking monsters. Or she uses Magic Cylinder.
Magic Cylinder is a fascinating choice here. It's a playful reversal.
Yeah, explain how that works.
You declare an attack with your biggest monster, and Magic Cylinder literally catches that attack and throws the exact damage right back into your own face.
Ouch. And if things get truly desperate, she has Ring of Destruction.
Oh, that one is brutal.
She targets a monster on the board, blows it up, and both players take damage equal to its attack points. It's chaotic mutual burn. If Addy goes down, she's taking you with her.
This is where the synthesis of the playstyle really solidifies. The philosophy of the deck is built around surprise and feeling, not control.
Right, because control is usually what people go for.
Exactly. A normal player wants consistency.
Right.
They want to draw the perfect cards in the perfect order to control the board. This deck embraces inconsistency because that inconsistency breeds explosiveness.
Yeah.
The entire goal is to leave you, the opponent, sitting there, staring at the table, experiencing a very specific and baffling feeling. Wait, how did I just lose?
Like, you spent 20 minutes chipping away at squirrels and taking 500 points of burn damage, only to get hit in the face with a flaming syringe for the game. Exactly.
It's brilliant. And this leads us to the most fascinating part of this entire deep dive. We've talked about the mechanics, but the source material goes much deeper than that.
It really does.
It doesn't just list the cards and the combos. It includes a deep reflection on why this deck exists in the first place. It explicitly states that this is not a pure burn deck, and it's not a pure aggro deck.
Let's define aggro for a moment for the listeners.
Sure.
An aggro, or aggressive deck, wants to ignore defense entirely and just hit the opponent as hard and fast as possible from turn 1.
Right.
Addy's deck absolutely does not do that. It is a conversion deck. And that designation is deeply philosophical. The core mechanism is transmutation.
Transmutation.
You take life and you turn it into damage. You take damage and you turn it into pressure. You take the loss of a monster and you turn it into punishment through backfire.
Pain isn't the opposite of joy. It fuels it. That is a direct, profound quote from the design note.
It's quite the statement. The deck plays from the heart, not a spreadsheet. It looks behind, gathering resources and taking hits, and then suddenly leaps ahead with massive, unpredictable power.
Right.
But looking at this, it really makes me grapple with something. Does this mean the player, Addy, actually wants to be in a vulnerable position?
That's the big
It's
question.
like, is the whole deck deliberately designed to manufacture a comeback narrative? Do they need to feel the pain to actually enjoy the win?
If we connect this to the bigger picture, I think the answer is a resounding yes.
Really?
Yeah. The final read on Addy as a duelist in the text is exactly that. She turns vulnerability into advantage. The core message, the internal monologue of the playstyle is, you thought I was losing, but I was just building something.
Wow.
The deck demands that you endure the early game. It demands that you take the hits, because
Yeah.
that damage, that emotional energy, is the literal currency you need to power your eventual victory.
You're not playing Yu-Gi-Oh! You're playing emotional economics.
Exactly. This raises an important question about how the games we play, and the ways we choose to play them, often reflect our deepest coping mechanisms. Like a mirror. Right. A deck of cards, when built from scratch, becomes a mirror. Addy's deck shows a personality that smiles while calculating. A personality that takes damage only to flip it.
Someone who intentionally looks weak, soft, and harmless right up until the exact moment they are suddenly overwhelmingly strong.
It's incredibly revealing.
It's an incredible journey. Let's trace it back. We started with this cute, harmless opening. Nimble momungas and UFO turtles, just trying to survive, gaining life points and looking entirely non-threatening.
Setting the trap.
Right. Then we shifted into the agonizing emotional alchemy of the midgame, where we discovered that trap, turning simple healing into a slow, burning pressure with Fire Princess and Solar Flare Dragon, suffocating the opponent while hiding behind defensive spells.
The sauna locking.
Exactly. Then the sheer explosive violence of the Addy spike injection fairy lily, wielding that giant fiery syringe, draining those stockpiled life points for a massive lethal blow.
Just brilliant pacing.
And underneath all of this cardboard and strategy, there is this profound realization that the whole thing is an exercise in emotional economics.
The physical cards are just the medium. They're just the paint on the canvas.
Yeah.
The real strategy is the manipulation of feeling, both the opponent's feeling of false security and the player's feeling of controlled eventual release.
So what does this all mean for you listening right now? We all have tools, hobbies, or habits. Think about the way you play a video game.
Or anything, really.
Right. Are you the type of person who rushes in aggressively ignoring defense? Or do you build an impenetrable fortress and wait for the enemy to exhaust themselves?
It shows up everywhere.
Think about how you organize your desk, how you manage your inbox, or even how you drive your car. How do those daily mundane routines secretly mirror your own emotional philosophy? What is your personal equivalent of stockpiling life points and turning pain into power?
It's a fascinating lens to view our own behavior through.
Yeah.
And it leaves us with something critical to consider.
What's that?
Well, if our playstyles perfectly map our psychological coping mechanisms, if our decks and strategies are essentially Rorschach tests of our souls, what does it mean when we choose to play entirely by someone else's meta strategy instead of our own?
Oh, wow.
Are we just borrowing someone else's emotional economics because it's efficient rather than authentic?
And if we spend our lives playing with someone else's cards, how can we ever expect to understand the jagged lines on our own psychological x-rays? That's something to think about next time you sit down at the table.